What if the biggest career skill today is not just knowing one app, but knowing which tool to use, when to use it, and how to get the best result from it? That is why mastering AI tools has become so important. Microsoft and LinkedIn reported 75% of global knowledge workers were already using AI at work, while McKinsey's 2025 survey found that 78% of organizations were using AI in at least one business function. This shows that AI tools are no longer only for tech experts. They are now used by students, teachers, creators, marketers, designers, business teams, and even working professionals. But mastering AI tools doesn't mean typing only a random question and copying the first answer. This means learning how to use tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, NotebookLM, Canva, Gamma, Runway, ElevenLabs, Zapier, and Make for real tasks like writing, research, presentations, designs, voiceover, video visuals, document studies, and automation. Earlier, creating a complete tutorial meant researching, scripting, designing slides, finding visuals, recording audio, and organizing everything manually. Today, these tools can support almost every step from the first idea to the final output, and they do not replace human creativity. They help reduce repetitive work, give a strong starting point, and make ideas easier to execute. And that is why this topic matters. If you know how to use the right AI tool in the right way, you can learn faster, create better content, save time, and work with more confidence in 2026 and beyond. What are AI tools? We will understand what AI tools actually mean and how they help in daily work. Why AI tools matter. We will see why students, creators, and professionals are using these tools more than ever. How to use AI tools properly. We will learn how to give clear instructions and get better results. ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude demo. We will use these tools for writing, planning, explaining topics, and improving content. Perplexity and NotebookLM demo. We will then see how to research with sources and understand documents easily. Canva, Gamma, Runway, and ElevenLabs demo. Then we will create designs, presentations, video visuals, and voiceovers. Zapier and Make demo. Then we will understand how to connect apps and reduce repetitive manual work. Best practices and common mistakes. Then we will learn what to follow, what to avoid, and how to use these tools responsibly. So before we move on, let me share something really exciting with you guys. If this tutorial made you realize how useful modern AI tools can be for writing, coding, research, business tasks, automation, and everyday productivity, then you should definitely check out the Advanced Executive Program in Applied Generative AI offered in collaboration with IIT and Pravartak Technologies Foundation and Simplilearn. So this program is designed for learners who want to go beyond casually using AI tools and actually understanding how generative AI is applied in real business situations. You will get hands-on exposure to tools and technologies like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Azure AI, OpenAI, DALL-E, Hugging Face, Streamlit, Gradio, Chroma, PyTorch, FAISS, and more. The program also covers important modern AI concepts like agentic AI and the MCP framework, helping you understand how advanced AI systems are built and used today. And the best part is this is not just theory. You will get live online learning, integrated labs, hands-on experience, industry-level projects, masterclasses by IITM and IIT faculty or alumni, capstone work, and career support. The program also includes a 2-day campus immersion at IIT Madras Research Park, along with the startup support from IIT and Pravartak Technologies Foundation and a program certificate from IIT and Pravartak. And you will also work on practical projects like building an HR assistant, logo designer, news assistant, customer order analysis system, Python adventure game, and business insights dashboard. So whether you're a student, a working professional, manager, developer, or someone planning to move into future-ready tech roles, this program can help you build practical generative AI skills step by step. So if you want structured learning instead of random scattered videos, go for this course. The link is in the description box. Go check it out. Before we start exploring the tools, let's quickly test your understanding with a simple question. What is the best way to use AI tools effectively? Is it A, ask random questions, B, give clear instructions, C, copy every answer, or is it D, use only one tool? Let us know your answers in the comments below. Hello everyone and welcome back to Simplilearn. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to master AI tools in a simple, practical, and beginner-friendly way. Because AI tools are no longer something only technical people or big companies use. They are now becoming everyday work partners for students, teachers, content creators, marketers, designers, business teams, freelancers, and working professionals who want to save time, improve quality, and get work done with less effort. So Microsoft and LinkedIn's 2024 Work Trend Index reported that 75% of global knowledge workers were already using AI at work, and Microsoft India reported that 92% of Indian knowledge workers were using AI at work, which clearly shows that this is not just a future skill anymore. It's already becoming a daily workplace skill. So McKinsey's 2025 global survey also found that 78% of respondents said that their organizations were using AI in at least one business function, which means that companies are using AI tools in real departments like IT, marketing, sales, customer service, and operations, and not just for experiments. And Stanford's 2025 AI Index also reported that AI business usage has increased from 78% in 2024 up from 55% in the previous year, showing how quickly workplaces are adopting these tools. OpenAI has also shared that ChatGPT has grown to over 700 million weekly active users, making it one of the most widely used digital tools in the world for learning, writing, planning, researching, and solving everyday problems. But here is the most important point. Using AI tools and mastering AI tools are two completely different things. Many people open ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or any other tool, type one basic question, get an average answer, and then think the tool is not powerful, but the real problem is usually not the tool. It's the way we ask and the way we guide it. ChatGPT can help us explore ideas, solve problems, and learn faster. Gemini can help with writing, planning, brainstorming, and working across Google Apps. And Claude is built to help with writing, research, coding, and deeper problem solving. And Perplexity works like an answer engine that gives real-time answers with sources, so each tool has its own strength when used in the right way. And the best part is that these tools are not limited to text anymore. Gamma can turn ideas into polished presentations and export them as PPT or PDF, and Canva's magic design can help generate design templates from a single text query or photo. ElevenLabs can turn text into realistic voiceovers in many languages, and Runway can help create professional video visuals, and Zapier connects more than 9,000 apps to reduce repeated manual work, and Make helps users build visual workflows without traditional coding. Even for video creators and trainers, tools like Envato Elements can make a huge difference because it offers stock videos, video templates, music fonts, graphics, and presentation templates that can make learning content look more professional and premium. So imagine this. Earlier, if you wanted to create a complete tutorial, you had to research the topic, write the script, create slides, design thumbnails, find stock visuals, record voiceovers, prepare examples, and organize everything manually. But now tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, NotebookLM, Gamma, Canva, Runway, ElevenLabs, Zapier, Make, and Envato Elements can support almost every stage of that journey. So from the first idea to the final output, for example, Gamma can help turn ideas into polished presentations and export them as PPT, PDF, PNG, or Google Slides. Canva's magic design can generate design templates from text or media. ElevenLabs can create voiceovers from written text. Runway can help create professional video visuals, and Zapier can connect more than 9,000 apps, and Make can build visual workflows without traditional coding, and Envato Elements can provide stock videos, templates, graphics, designs, music, and creative assets to make the final output look more polished. So this doesn't mean that the tools replace human creativity. Instead, they make creativity faster, sharper, and easy to execute, because the person still decides the idea, checks facts, and improves the final output and adds the human touch, while the tools reduce the blank page struggle and give a strong starting point. Canva's official AI pages describe tools for generating designs and editable layouts. Gamma describes fast presentation and document creation, and ElevenLabs describes voice generation for use cases like narration, audiobooks, and voiceovers. So in this tutorial, we will not simply look at some random list of AI tools. We will understand how to use them properly, how to ask better questions, and how to use the right tool for the right task, and how to avoid common mistakes, complete a specific part of the work. By the end of this tutorial, you will not only look at AI tools as confusing websites or one-time shortcuts. You will look at them as complete productivity systems that can help you learn faster, create better content, research smarter, design faster, present professionally, and work with more confidence in 2026 and beyond. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Simplilearn. So in today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to master AI tools in a simple and practical way. So now before I begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever opened an AI tool, typed one basic question and got an average answer, and then thought, maybe this tool is not that useful? If yes, you're not alone. Most beginners face the same problem. The problem is not always the tool, the problem is usually how we use it. AI tools are not magic buttons. They are more like smart assistants, and if we give them unclear instructions, they can give unclear answers. But if we give them a clear context, a clear task, and a clear output format, they can help us write better, research faster, create content, and even prepare presentations. So in this tutorial, we will not just see a random list of tools, we will understand how to use them properly. So we will start from the basics and then learn how to write better prompts, and then explore tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, NotebookLM. If we can use NotebookLM. And if we want to create a presentation, we can use Gamma or Canva. If you want to create a voiceover, you can use ElevenLabs. If you want to create a short video visuals, we can use Runway. And if we want to connect every different app together, we can use tools like Zapier or Make. So the first important point is this: every AI tool is not meant for every task. This is where many beginners get confused. They try to use one tool for everything. But the better approach is to understand the strength of each tool. So think of it like a toolbox. A hammer, a screwdriver, measuring tape, and drill are all useful tools. But each are useful for different jobs. So in the same way, ChatGPT, Gemini, and the other tools are useful, but each one of them solves a slightly different problem. So let us take a simple example. Suppose I'm creating a video on cybersecurity for beginners. I can use ChatGPT to create the structure and use Perplexity to collect the updated facts and sources. I can also use Claude to improve the language of the script, and I can use Gamma to create a presentation. I can use ElevenLabs to create a voiceover, and I can use Runway to create a small video visual. And I can use Zapier or Make to automate simple tasks like saving ideas into a spreadsheet or sending a notification when a form is filled. So instead of thinking which is the best AI tool, we should ask a better question: which AI tool is best for this task? So that one change will make your work much better. So now that we know what AI tools are, let's understand how they work at a basic level without going too technical. So to understand AI tools, imagine that you're talking to a very fast assistant who has seen a lot of examples: writing, coding, questioning, answering, and documents and patterns. So when you type something, the tool tries to understand what are you asking and then gives the most suitable response based on your instruction. But here is the important part: the tool does not automatically know your exact goal unless you explain it clearly. So let's say, for example, I type this: write about cyber security. So the answer can be really general. But what if I type a more detailed prompt, such as write a beginner-friendly introduction to... So the question is simple. Here we've typed. So the prompt is as follows: write a beginner-friendly introduction to cybersecurity for a YouTube tutorial. Use simple English and give one real example and keep it under 120 words. So the answer here becomes much better. Why? Because now the tool knows the topic, audience, format, style, and length. So this is why prompting is really important. Prompting simply means giving clear instructions. A good prompt is not about using fancy words. A good prompt is about giving useful details. Now let's compare two prompts. The first prompt is explain AI tools. So this is too broad. The tool may give a general answer. So let me go ahead and type explain AI tools. As you can see, the answer here is too generic. And the second prompt is as follows: explain AI tools to a beginner who has never used them before. So the prompt is this: explain AI tools to a beginner who has never used them before. Use simple English, give 5 examples, and explain when to use each tool. So this is much better because it tells the tool exactly what kind of answer we want. So whenever you're using an AI tool, remember this simple rule: unclear input gives unclear output. Clear input gives a useful output. Another important point is that AI tools can make mistakes. They can sometimes give outdated information, incomplete answers, or confident-sounding wrong answers. So we should not blindly trust everything. We should check important facts, especially when they're using data, news, clear information, career information, legal information, medical information, or anything that affects real decisions. So that is why tools like Perplexity and NotebookLM are helpful, because they can work with sources. But even then, we should still review the sources ourselves. So now that we understand how these tools work in simple terms, we shall now learn the most important skills for using them properly: writing better prompts. So now let us learn a simple prompting method that works across many tools. So this method is role, context, task, and format. So role means who the tool should act like. Context means the background information. And task means what we want the tool to do. Format here means how we want it to answer. Let me show you this with an example. So instead of writing a simple prompt like make a video script, I can write this: act as a beginner-friendly YouTube. As you can see, the prompt is as follows: act as a beginner-friendly YouTube trainer. I am creating a video for Simplilearn on cybersecurity basics. Create a 60-second script that explains what cybersecurity is, why it matters, and how beginners can start learning it. Use simple English, short sentences, and a conversational tone. So now let's break this down. Act as a beginner-friendly YouTube trainer is the role. I am creating a video for Simplilearn on cybersecurity basics is the context. Create a 60-second script is the task. And use simple English, short sentences, and conversational tone is the format and style. So this is where the answer will be much better than a basic prompt. Now let's see one more example for a presentation. So a basic prompt can be make PPT content on AI tools, but a better prompt is as follows. Act as a course creator and I am making a beginner-friendly tutorial on mastering AI tools. Create content for 8 slides. Keep the language simple, don't use too many technical terms, and each slide should have a clear heading, 3 to 4 short points and one example. So this prompt is better because it gives clear direction. Now let's try one more example for research. A basic prompt can be best AI tools, but a better prompt is this. I am making a tutorial for beginners on AI tools. Give me a comparison of tools for writing, research, presentations, voiceover, video creation, and automation. For each category, mention the best use case, one beginner mistake, and one simple prompt. So this tells the tool exactly what we want. Now let's talk about one more useful technique. Improve the prompt so that it gives a much detailed and beginner-friendly answer. So this particular prompt is very helpful because beginners may not know how to write the perfect prompt in the beginning. So now that we have learned the basics of prompting, let's move on from theory to practical use. We shall now open the first tool and see how to use ChatGPT for writing, planning, and content creation. So now that we understand the basics of prompting, let's start with ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is useful when we want to plan ideas, write content, summarize information, improve text, create examples, generate outlines, and even understand code. For this demo, let us use one repeated example. Creating a YouTube tutorial on cybersecurity for beginners. So this way we will not jump between random examples. So we will use the same topic and see how different tools help us at different stages. I'm opening ChatGPT and typing this prompt. Act as a beginner-friendly YouTube course creator. I'm creating a Simplilearn tutorial on cybersecurity for beginners. Give me a clear video outline for a 45-minute tutorial. Keep the language simple, include introduction, agenda, key concepts, real-life examples, tools, common mistakes, quiz, and outro. So now that we have entered this prompt, ChatGPT gives us an outline. At this point, I should not copy everything blindly. I should review the structure, check if it fits my audience, and if the outline is too advanced, I can ask ChatGPT to simplify it. So now I will go ahead and type, make this outline more beginner-friendly. Avoid technical language, add real-life examples after every major concept. So this is an important step. Many beginners stop after the first answer, but the real value comes from refining the answer. So now let's ask ChatGPT to create a short script from one section. So write only the introduction section as a conversational YouTube script. Start with a hook, keep it simple and natural. Don't make it sound too promotional. So this gives us a usable introduction. Now let me improve the tone. So for that I type, rewrite the introduction like a trainer speaking to beginners. Use short sentences and smooth transitions. So this is how we turn a rough answer into a better final version. Now let's use ChatGPT for content repurposing. Suppose we already have a long paragraph. I paste a sample paragraph and type, convert this paragraph into 5 simple bullet points for a presentation. Keep each point under 12 words. And this is useful because one long script can be converted into slides, shorts, descriptions, quiz questions, and social media posts. Now let's go ahead and create a quiz. For that I type, create 3 beginner-friendly MCQ quiz questions from the cybersecurity introduction. Then give 4 options and mark the correct answer. So now ChatGPT has helped us create an outline, introduction, slide points, and quiz questions. So this is why ChatGPT is useful for planning and content creation. But remember one thing, ChatGPT is very helpful, but we still need to check out facts. If the topic includes current information, recent tools, salaries, news, statistics, we should always verify the sources. So that is why tools like Perplexity become useful, and we will see this shortly. Before that, let's move on to Gemini and understand how it can help us with research, files, and Google-style work. So now that we've seen how ChatGPT can help us create content, let's move on to Gemini. So Gemini is useful when we wanted to help with writing, planning, brainstorming, working with files, and exploring information in a Google-style environment. So for this demo, we will continue on the same example, a tutorial on cybersecurity for beginners. So I open Gemini here and I type this particular prompt. So I'm creating a beginner-friendly tutorial on cybersecurity for beginners. Give me a simple explanation of cybersecurity using a house security example. Keep it suitable for students and working professionals. So this prompt is simple, but it gives Gemini a clear audience and a clear explanation style. Now Gemini may explain cybersecurity using locks, cameras, passwords, alarms, and guards. And this makes this topic easier for beginners. Now let's ask it to create a comparison. For that, I type, create a simple table comparing cybersecurity terms. Threat, vulnerability, attack, risk, and protection. Use one real-life example for each. So this is useful because tables make complex topics easier to explain. So now let's use Gemini for file-based work. Suppose I have a PDF for a document about cybersecurity basics. I can upload this file and ask. So as you can see, I've typed the following prompt and attached an attachment here. Summarize this document in simple English. Give me the top 10 points a beginner should remember. Also create 5 quiz questions from it. So this is useful when we don't want to read a long document manually. But here is an important point. Even when the tool summarizes the document, we should still check the original file for important details. Now let's use Gemini for image-related brainstorming. So for this, I go ahead and type, suggest 5 visual ideas for security in a YouTube tutorial. Avoid clutter, keep the visuals beginner-friendly. So this can give us ideas like a locked laptop, a shield protecting data, a hacker blocked by firewall, a password gate, or a secure cloud. So these ideas can later be used onto Canva or Runway. So now let's use Gemini for rewriting. For this, I type, so rewrite the explanation in a more conversational. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting systems, networks, and data from digital attacks. So Gemini may rewrite this as, think of cybersecurity as a digital version of street smarts. So it's basically everything we do to keep our devices, our personal info, and our internet connection safe from people who shouldn't have access to them. So this is much easier for beginners. So the main point here is this. Gemini can help us explain topics, simplify content, work with files, create tables, and generate visual ideas. So now that we have seen ChatGPT and Gemini, let's move on to Claude. So Claude is useful when we want polished writing, long-form editing, document improvement, and cleaning explanations. This is also useful for coding support, especially when we want the code explained in simple language. So in this section, we will do 2 demos. So first, we will improve rough paragraph. Second, we will create and run a simple Python script. So let's begin with the writing improvement. I'm opening Claude and typing this particular prompt. Act as a beginner-friendly trainer. Improve the following paragraph for a YouTube tutorial. Keep it simple, natural, and conversational, and don't make it sound too robotic. And the paragraph was, cybersecurity is important because many people use the internet and attackers can steal information if the systems are not protected. Now, Claude may rewrite it in a more smoother way. So as you can see, this is the improved paragraph suggested by Claude. So now this is very easy to present because it sounds more natural. Now let's go ahead and ask Claude to make it even more simpler. For that, I type, make this suitable for a complete beginner and add one real-life example. So this step is important because we're not just generating content, we are shaping it for the audience. Now let's move on to the coding part. So let's go ahead and create a simple Python program that takes a paragraph and gives us important keywords and a short summary. So before we run the code, we need 2 things installed on the computer, Python and Visual Studio Code. But for now, I will be running this on Claude itself. Create a simple Python script that summarizes a paragraph without using any external libraries. The script should extract common keywords and print the top 2 important sentences. Also explain the code in simple English. So as you can see, Claude is generating the code for the same. Now we will use the simple version. So now let's understand this code in simple English. The first line imports counter. So counter helps us count how many times each word appears. The next line here is imports RE. So this helps us find words and sentences using patterns. Then we will create a variable called text. So this contains the paragraph that we want to summarize. After that, we will split the paragraph into sentences. So this helps the program understand each sentence separately. Then we will extract words from the text. We are only taking words with 4 or more letters because very small words like is, to, and, of are not usually useful for keywords. Now we will create a small list for stop words. So these are common words that we do not want to count as important keywords. After that, we will remove these common words from our word list. Then counter counts how often the remaining words appear. The most common words become our keywords. Then we will score each sentence. If a sentence contains more important keywords, it gets a higher score. Finally, the program prints the top keywords and the top 2 important sentences are a short summary. Now the output will show the top keywords and a short summary. So the important thing here is that AI helps us create a working starting point and we understood what each part of the code means. So this is how beginners can use AI tools for coding. Don't just copy and paste the code blindly. Ask the tools to explain it. Ask what each line does and ask how to run it. As well as you can ask the errors that could happen, and if there is an error, copy the error message and ask the tool to explain it in simple language. So now that we have seen how Claude can help with writing and coding, let's move on to a tool that's very useful to research resources, Perplexity. So now that we have seen writing, planning, and coding support, let's move on to research. So this is where Perplexity becomes so useful. Perplexity is helpful when we want direct answers with sources. So this is important because when we create educational content, we should not depend only on memory or random answers. We should verify important points. So let's continue with our cybersecurity tutorial example. So I opened Perplexity here and I'm typing the following question. What are the most important cybersecurity basics and why should you learn it in 2026? Give simple explanations and include resources. So now Perplexity gives us an answer with sources. The key point here is not just reading the answer. The key point here is checking the sources. If Perplexity says that something is important, we should open the source and see whether it actually supports the point. So this is useful for tutorials because it helps us avoid wrong, outdated information. Now let's ask it a better answer. For that, I type, so create a beginner-friendly list of cybersecurity topics for a 45-minute YouTube tutorial. Repeat, include passwords, phishing, malware, safe browsing, backups, and basic network safety. Keep the explanation simple. So this gives us a structured answer. Now let's ask Perplexity to compare sources. For that, I type, compare beginner cybersecurity recommendations from reliable sources and give me the common points that appear again and again. So this is useful because instead of depending on one source, we can see repeated ideas across multiple sources. Now let's use Perplexity for fact-checking. Suppose ChatGPT or Claude gives us a statement like phishing is one of the most common cyber threats. We can go to Perplexity and ask, find reliable sources that can support and correct the statement. Phishing is one of the most common cybersecurity threats. So this helps us verify. Now let's talk about a common mistake. A beginner may copy full Perplexity answer and use it directly. So that is not the best approach. A better approach is to use Perplexity for research and then write the explanation in your own simple teaching style. So the workflow is research with Perplexity, check the sources, note the important points, and then use ChatGPT or Claude to turn those points into a beginner-friendly script content. So now that we know how to research with sources, let's move on to NotebookLM, which is useful if we want to learn from our own documents. So now that we have seen research with sources, let's move on to NotebookLM. So NotebookLM is useful when we have our own documents like PDFs, notes, or study material, and we want to understand them faster. The key difference is this. Perplexity is useful for searching and researching across sources, while NotebookLM is useful for working with sources that we provide. So now let's take a simple example. Suppose I have a PDF called Cybersecurity Basic Notes and I upload it onto NotebookLM. Once the source is added, I can ask questions based on that document. So for now, I haven't created a document on cybersecurity. I will use a random requirement.txt file. And I will use the following prompt. Summarize this document in simple English for a beginner. So this will summarize the content from the uploaded source. So now if I ask, create a study guide from this document with key points, simple definitions and examples. So now if I ask, create 10 quiz questions from the document and make them beginner friendly and include answers. So this is useful for trainers and content creators. Now let's use it for script creation. For this I type, so based on this uploaded document, create a 5-minute explanation of phishing for beginners. Use simple explanations and the phrase based only on this uploaded document. So this is important because it tells the tool to stay close to the source. So now let me ask for a comparison. For that I type, from this document, list the difference between malware, phishing, and ransomware in a single table. So this gives us a teach-ready content. So now let's use it for revision. Give me the top 5 things as a beginner that I should remember from this topic. So this is helpful because long documents can feel overwhelming. Now here is one important teaching point. So NotebookLM is useful, but we should still check the source if the topic is important. So the tool helps us understand better, but we're still responsible for reviewing the final output. So now that we have seen how to learn from the documents, let us move on to creative tools. We shall now see how some tools can help us make presentations, designs, visuals, videos, and voiceovers. So let's start with Gamma. Gamma is useful when we want to turn an idea into a presentation or a visual document quickly. So for our cybersecurity tutorial, I am opening Gamma and using this prompt. Create a beginner-friendly presentation on cybersecurity for beginners. Keep it simple and clean. Include slides on what cybersecurity means and why it matters. Common threats, passwords, safety, phishing, malware, safe browsing, backups, and final recap. Use short bullet points and simple examples. So as you can see, Gamma created a first draft of the presentation. But again, we should not use the first draft blindly. We should review the slide flow, reduce extra text, and make sure that the language is simple. A good presentation should support the trainer and not replace the trainer. Now let's move. So Canva is useful for designing thumbnails, posters, social media posts, presentations, and video assets. So for example, I open Canva and use design prompts like this. So it's create a YouTube thumbnail concept for cybersecurity for beginners. Use a clean tech background, a shield icon, a laptop, and a bold readable text. Keep the design simple and professional. So now that we create thumbnails, we should avoid too much clutter. The viewer should not understand the topic within 2 seconds. So instead of using long texts like complete cybersecurity tutorial for beginners in 2026, we can use shorter texts like cybersecurity basics or learn cybersecurity. So as you can see, the interface here for Runway looks really cool. So Runway is useful when we want to create short video visuals. For example, I can use this prompt. So the prompt is as follows. Create a short cinematic visual of a laptop screen protected by a glowing digital shield. Keep it professional, clean, and suitable for cybersecurity tutorial. So this can help us create small intro, visuals, background clips, or explanation scenes. But we should use visuals carefully. The visuals should support explanation and not distract us from it. So as you can see, I've uploaded an image relevant to cybersecurity. Now let's go ahead and generate the video. So as you can see, we have a video generated over here. So the visuals should support the explanation and it hasn't distracted us from it. So ElevenLabs is useful for creating voiceovers from text. For example, I can paste this short narration. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting your device's accounts and data from unwanted access. Then I choose a voice and generate audio. So here's how you're supposed to be doing it. You will have to head over to voices and then create voice, then go for voice design and generate voice. But I will use this particular prompt.
To a swift end.
And I have selected a voice of my choice from here.
Hey everyone. So let's chat about cybersecurity for a sec. It's basically about keeping all your digital stuff safe. Think of it as your personal online bodyguard. We're talking about protecting your devices, your accounts, and all that precious data from anyone who shouldn't have access. It's super important these days, right?
So as you can see, this is useful for creators who need narration for short videos, explainers, or training content. But there is one important rule. Do not clone or imitate someone's voice without permission. Always use voices responsibly. Now let's bring these creative tools together. Gamma helps us create a presentation, Canva helps us create designs, Runway helps us create video visuals, and ElevenLabs helps us create voiceovers. And when we use them together, we can move from idea to final content much faster. So now that we have understood individual tools, let's connect them in one proper workflow. So now that we've used multiple tools, let us talk about the best practices. The first best practice is to be clear with your instructions. Don't just type one-word prompts. Give the tool the role, the context, task, and format. The second best practice is to improve the answers step by step. The first answer is usually not the final answer. Ask the tool to simplify it, shorten it, expand, and add examples, change tone, or even convert the answer into a table. The third best practice is to verify important facts. If you're talking about current data, job salaries, tool features, legal rules, health advice, or security information, check reliable sources. The fourth best practice is to protect private information. Don't paste passwords, private documents, customer data, personal addresses, or confidential company information into tools unless you clearly understand the privacy rules of that tool and your organization allows it. The fifth best practice is to use the right tool for the right task. Use ChatGPT or Claude for writing and explanation, use Perplexity for research, LM for uploaded documents, use Gamma and Canva for presentations and designs, and use ElevenLabs for voiceover. Use Runway for video visuals and use Zapier and Make for simple automation. The sixth best practice is to keep your own thinking active. AI tools can help, but they should not always replace your judgment. Always review the final output. Now let's look at the common mistakes. The first common mistake is using a very basic prompt. The second mistake is copying answers without checking. The third mistake is using too many tools without understanding one tool properly. The fourth mistake is adding too much text and slides and designs. The fifth mistake is using generated visuals or voices without checking the usage, rights, and permissions. The sixth mistake is trusting code without running and understanding it. So if you use AI tools for coding, always ask, what does this code do? How do I run it? And how can the errors happen? And how can I test it? Now let's remember one simple rule. AI tools are useful when we use them as assistants and not replacements. The human still decides the goal, checks the output, improves the quality, and takes responsibility for the final result. So now that we've covered the best practices and mistakes, let's end this with a quick recap. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial on mastering AI tools. We learned how these tools can help with writing, research, planning, design, voiceovers, video creation, documents, and automation when used in the right way. So the main takeaway is simple. Don't just use AI tools randomly. Understand the task, choose the right tool, give clear instructions, and always review the final output. Keep practicing with different tools, try building your own workflows, and slowly you will become more confident in using them for learning work and content creation. Subscribe to Simplilearn for more insights and check out our related videos.